Hello and welcome back to Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage. Last time I had a bit of a funny discussion. We had to save state our way through the most insufferable challenge on Earth. You know the one. Everyone knows the one. But after I won the game of ice hockey by cheating, we're now here. And I know, it sounds bad, I know. But, in my defense, I don't have anything to say in my defense. It is just aggravating. You know? I just wanted to be done with it. Come on. So there we go. That's gonna be another one. Well, I guess that's the generator. Ah, this is like a lightning gatherer contraption. Oh no, no! Spyro, no! This happens every episode. Wow. I'm back here. Well, let's fly back. This isn't even the mission I was originally on, but you know, it is what it is. Yeah, I have to redo the mission. Thanks to my own ineptitude. That's annoying. Hello? Anyways, in the last episode, a specific discussion point I was having is just general 5th gen console shenanigans. And I want to continue that discussion by, just kind of clarifying something. So in the last episode, one of the things I mentioned is generally, like, you know, just... Even though that, in a technical sense, very literally, the feature set of the N64 was more advanced, what I was trying to say, and it took me maybe like the 5 seconds between the old and the new episodes to think of an asterisk, what I was trying to say is that the advantage in, you know, technological capabilities hardly mattered. I mean, You've seen that the Nintendo Switch has games which are, in a technical sense, far better than, you know... Sorry, not in a technical sense, but in a purely, like, fuck. Okay, whatever, I'll call them first. My fucking god. In a purely, like, you know, technical sense, the N64 games are obviously of a higher, you know, quality. Not of a high quality, like a higher technical level, because they are... Oh, he got stuck! Maybe not? So... Oh, weird. What you run into is the fact that even though the, you know, PS1 games are, visually speaking, you know, more primitive, you have texture warping, you have some levels of, you know, geometry, like Z-buffer shenanigans. Even so, the, PS1 games were more popular to people. Did he despawn by going off screen? If he did, that's annoying, because yeah, I only got 3. But that's kind of the issue in a way, you know? As fun as it is to argue about, you know, technical specifications, a lot of people just didn't care. Basically everyone didn't really give a shit, you know? The N64 was 64-bit. So what? I say that as if recently I didn't make a video, basically trying to explain why the 64-bitness was actually a mistake. For those who don't know, the 64-bit thing, all that bits are is how much data you can operate on in one, you know, hertz at one point in time. And even though you may think more bits is better, and it can be... Oh, I see him. He's over there. The issue which you will run into is the fact that you know, you're not gonna be able to, you know, process stuff that much. There's no inherent benefit for a 64-bit system over a 32-bit one on a system which only has like 4 megabytes of RAM. I mean, the Wii U was 32-bit, and many of the like Wii U ports of PlayStation titles are... Oi, come back here. Many of the Switch ports of Wii U titles are also 32-bit. For the simple reason that those games were already, you know, compiled for a 32-bit OS, you know, on the Wii U, so when they were ported to Switch, you know, we may as well. Where I can track you, buddy. But yeah, that's kind of the thing that I was trying to get at. The issue is that when you run into the... Oh my god. He juked me. Okay, there we go. The issue you run into is that even though that doesn't add anything, you know, in terms of power.
Thank you, Spyro.
Yeah, thank you, Spyro. I found this shiny thing. Oh, here you go. The issue you run into is that even if you are getting some kind of advantage just from you know, having more bits, in this case you're not. Basically, the developers only ever used, I think, the like 64-bit instructions by accident because they're not that useful. The only real, like, you know, that's the only real benefit, but the drawback is essentially just, you know, extra complexity. And the issue with just having extra complexity in the way the CPU is built is that's more transistors, which means more time, more money, worse yields. So at the end of the day, you know, sure, it being 64 bits wasn't the biggest issue the system had, but it was one of the issues that was just like, you know, compounding the river of problems that was its hardware design. Because, I mean, yeah, the big issue for developers, the main one, the much more important one than any of the other, like, niche things people talk about is the fact it had cartridges instead of a, you know, CD drive. Because, believe it or not, a lot of developers weren't all too happy about the fact that, their games, you know, required... We'll go there and we'll go back for these things. Oh my god. Oh, I am lucky to be alive.
Help! The switch to turn off the gear grinder factory is in that room, but, it's awfully noisy in there.
Yeah, okay, I'll do it.
Thanks for shutting down the factory. Here, I found this stuck between the gears. You can...
Thanks, I guess. But yeah, the point I'm trying to make is that as fun as it may be to argue about this sort of stuff, the biggest issue, like, in order from... Fuck! From smallest to largest, is, well, first, obviously, you know, you have the cartridge size. Why? Oh my... I'm gonna have to run all the way back. Actually, wait, no, I'm stupid. I can just go over here. Yeah, that's Hurricos done. But yeah. Ooh. Now they're being trolled. Oh. They're kind of insane. But yeah, the sort of funny part to me is just kind of the fact that out of all of these games, out of all these things, whenever people talk about, oh, this was the developer limitation, this is what made development harder. Sorry, let me just try to...
Your game?
I'm gonna try to switch to the active camera here.
Your game?
Okay, how does this work? Somehow this...
Was you...
Oh, wait, what happened? I do not like this camera. It is too close to him and doesn't seem very active.
Are you enjoying?
Please, yeah, switch it back to the passive camera. Anyways, yeah, what did she tell me?
Would you like me?
Continue portal. Sends me to the Aquaria Towers. I don't want to go to the Aquaria Towers, though. I want to go to the, I'll go to the other one first. We'll see. Yeah, Sunny Beach, why not? Generally speaking, like, the big thing is always how many good games are on the system. And as it would so often happen, the system that has the most good games is the one where it's, you know, kind of the easiest to put the games onto. And cartridges make that a lot harder. I'm forgetting the exact numbers, but it was like... the average budget of a PS1 game was something like 100-something K, like a little bit under 200K. But the
Hi,
develop...
Spyro. It's a good thing you're here. If you can help shepherd those baby turtles over there to safety, I'll be mighty grateful.
Okay. Like, the issue you kind of run into is the fact that, the PS1 has the cheaper games and, cheaper development costs. We're, like, talking under 200K for the PS1 ones, and, like, over 500K for the N64 ones. And the issue is, not only does game development cost more, however, worse than that, your returns per each cartridge are also going to be lower. Because, you know, profits per disc could climb up to, like, almost, I think, $30 or something. But on the N64, you're lucky to get, like, 5 to 6. And that kinda sucks, you know? Say what you want about, oh, you know, the more powerful system or whatever for developers. Like, it was either making games on the PS1 or making a much lower budget game on the N64. Because if you have, like, let's put a more... Let's, like, say it's a more quality game, question mark, you know? You're gonna go from having a game with a budget of 500K to now let's do 1 million, you know? It'll take a 1 million budget, yeah, fucking on the PS1. So much more of that budget can go to the game itself rather than to, like, the other supporting things that you would just end up having a game where more budget can go to the development, and that's kind of the reason a lot of, like, smaller budget PS1 games can be so charming and crazy. I mean, you know, there's a reason we didn't get Germs Neraware Tamachi on the fucking N64. It's because the game would have been too expensive to release. And keep in mind, Gems is a very... I mean, you can also list, you know, LSD Dream Emulator, which is a more well-known one. There's also Mizerna Falls, but, you know.
The water workers have boxed up most of our baby turtles.
Yeah, I'll do it. My point, generally speaking, is, or what it's trying to be, is that, in regards to, you know, the PS1 and 64 thing, I think the main benefit that the PS1 had is the fact that just so many damn developers made, like, some pretty decent quality games into the system, that came into the system, you know? And I mean, sure, the N64 also had some quality games, but the N64 kind of felt more like, what's the word? Oh yeah, barren. I sometimes do this in some places. I know it's kind of... I try to avoid it because I think it kind of ruins the mood. Which is a really mean thing to say about the N64, but I sometimes try to sort of ask... I know the answer, right? But I will go in just to see what people think, and I will ask, like, okay, can somebody... Let's try to see, you know, how many notable N64 games can you name? Or I guess, can we name? And I start off by bringing up, like, Mario and the two Zeldas. And then Ogre Battle 64. And then I try to see which games, like, the people they can bring up. And also, a lot of people there, you know? Late Zoomer, Millennial, sorta. Some of them are fucking, you know, old enough to be probably your father. So, what you'll end up, you know, seeing there is, just how people think generally. Because, believe it or not, you know, a lot of people don't have the fondest opinions. And it is really funny watching people try to list 10 games. We got to 8, which is kind of funny. I think, you know, they were the 2 Pokemon Stadium games. I mean, obviously they were like, you know, Mario, and the 2 Zeldas. Then there was the other Zelda, sorry, the other Zelda, the other Mario, the Paper Mario. There were no Mario Karts or Diddy Kong Racings even.
Dragon. The baby turtles will be safe up here. Please.
Yeah. There was F-Zero X. Somebody thought about that, but didn't think about Mario. Then there was Paper Mario, and then the 2 Pokemon Colosseum games. So according to, like, that specific...
There's a chef at the top of this...
yeah, but I can't climb, which sucks. But yeah, generally speaking, that's kind of the thing. On the PS1, there were just a lot more video games you can list. And meanwhile, on the N64, like, fucking, you know, I mean, we had some decent games, but, like, be real with me. Not all of them were spectacular, particularly. Especially, what's most funny to someone like me is that you often had, like, shit like Turok get a lot of praise, which I wonder where it's coming from, because, granted, it's one of those, like, games which maybe not that many people will talk about these days, but I made the mistake of featuring it in a comparison video multiple times, and every single time, it kinda lost out, because it's Turok. The first game was the best Turok, in terms of how enjoyable it is to play, not in complexity, god no. But yeah, the first one had the most... was the most enjoyable to play, and the first one sucked. Granted, compared to other, like, FPS games of the time on the N64, it was, like, the first one, so there wasn't that much to compare it to, but, like, even to Doom 64 or GoldenEye, which, I mean, look, the port of Doom 64 on PC is the definitive one, I would say. But even on the even on the N64, I would say, like, holy shit. So much better. But the thing is, during the 90s, you know, people talk about them as, like, RTX cultists. I've heard that term thrown around, which I find kind of funny. But, like, generally speaking, it's a really funny term to hear from people, considering it's, kinda... Well, for one, it is kind of accurate-ish, but more importantly for me, from what I've experienced, like, you know, in regards of, like, video games, it used to be a whole lot worse. For those who don't know, I found this old review of, like, a very short announcement review of, Symphony of the Night. Beloved game by so many people. I really need to play that thing. And then the reviewer says that it looks dated compared to, like, the new Castlevania 64. Because it's still 2D. Which, I mean, you look at that now and you're like, haha, games journalism. Buddy, this was how people thought. This was the general common opinion. It's kind of funny. And this is a game journalism sort of thing. I'm aware now, these days, it's kind of funny to meme about, but, like, game journalism had a place before, and it has a place now. It shows that place kind of changed because what role they fulfill has kind of changed. You know, back in the day, the point of games journalism wasn't to, like, convince you to... It wasn't really as much of a review thing as it was a journalism thing. It was there to make you aware that games existed. Because if IGN didn't make an article talking about the new, you know, PlayStation game, chances are you probably wouldn't know it was out unless you saw it physically in a store. There was no Google to check. So what you would run into is a situation where a lot of these articles had to look into and review like a billion games in their magazines at once, and granted it was a monthly magazine, but team sizes were smaller, review practices were less established, and sometimes they just didn't, not pointing any fingers at any EGM-shaped news magazines, but sometimes they didn't even review the games. Sometimes all you got was one paragraph. Is there a game you like? Oh, well, you're gonna get a one-paragraph review and a score of 2 out of 10 because it was too hard for the game dev to get into for the game journo to get into to actually review. Which is kind of funny. Now, I do think that a review where you said you can't finish a game, if that game's actually hard, and not if that game is, you know, Spyro the Dragon. You know, if the game's actually hard, I can totally see why somebody's saying, oh, I couldn't finish this game because it was so hard. I can see why that could carry some value with it. Also, dear God, I'm gonna have to do the flight stages. But yeah, we'll begin this stage as well. But yeah, the issue you kind of run into with that sort of stuff is that back in the day, they were very inaccurate. And these days, it kind of flipped. It's weird, but it's because very often the average gamer is even less knowledgeable about the video games they play than the reviewers. This is because the reviewer is paid to do their job well.
The funny-looking guys with the shock sticks have drained all our water.
Yeah, you can't get until someone activates the switches they're guarding. Okay. But yeah, generally speaking, I know it's like kind of an interesting thing to say, but like, holy shit, the modern state of video game discourse is completely dead in the water, you know. I mean, topical for the level I'm playing, but the main issue is, for those who haven't noticed, the main kind of... I'm trying to get this health so I can try to hit the... So I can try to, like, drive into the crab. There we go. The main issue is that the kind of content that does really well online, as of like a few years ago at least, is just rage bait. And that sucks, you know? That's gross. Nobody wants like rage bait to be the most popular thing, except it is. People love rage bait. People love being rage baited. I guess maybe they don't love being rage baited, but they do still fall for it all the time, so it's, you know. The issue is, because there's so much rage bait and so many people these days just get their opinion from a YouTuber, game journalism is back purely because the alternative is just parroting like random information from some YouTuber who thinks Shigeru Miyamoto makes Pokemon. Is just a bunch of bullshit, you know? It's just not something that's worth, you know, it's not worth your time. And I'm aware, like, telling people, oh, this isn't worth your time, it may not have the most positive connotations, but it's true. Like, random rage bait tubers are not worth your time. They're not worth my time either, but you know how many fucking rage bait videos I get in my recommended page, man? And the funny thing is, I avoid rage bait content. I don't just like not click on it. No. I click the little 3 dots and I hit don't recommend channel. And then that channel doesn't get recommended, but I get another video from a different channel on basically the exact same topic, because this kind of content is really, you know, YouTube sees that it's popular and it's advertised as neutral, so I can do whatever they want. And then, like, I go in and see, oh yeah, totally, man, yeah. And then I see another video, which is also on the same... It's just... I don't want to hear it. I have unsubscribed from channels that do rage bait, and I've just blocked them out, because there's always going to be more stuff to watch that's made by creators that actually care about their integrity, you know? There's so much content made by people who only care for, you know, their whatever the fuck, but there's even more people who actually give a shit about the things they're making. Yeah, we have to get past the metal sharks, so I have to give him 100 gems. Wait, oh fuck, were there gems up there? I don't even know, but yeah. The issue I have, generally speaking, is just the fact that no matter what happens, everything kind of goes to shit by the end. And what I mean by that is the fact that, like, you're gonna end up having to deal with the little issue where you're gonna have a bunch of rage bait stuff in your feed. Doesn't matter how much you try to avoid it, YouTube will eventually show it to you because so many other people are falling for it. And the #1 way to fight back is to say no, to not fall for it, and to instead give time to creators who don't do rage bait content. I don't do rage bait content. I have tried to go into, like, some more parody sort of stuff, but I haven't bothered that much because it is a lot harder than it seems, especially gathering, you know, footage and stuff.
Our world is wet again.
Yeah, please, give me the talisman. I was specifically gonna give the game away, but whoever sees the video isn't gonna watch, like, episode 7 of a Spyro the Dragon Let's Play, so... I was gonna make a video, I brainstormed it with some friends, I have the script basically done. The joke is, it's one of those, it's inspired after old, like, YouTuber top 10 videos, where they're like, you know, top 10 N64 games. But in this case, it's just like, you know, top 10 best and worst Mario games. And the video is set up as if it was, you know, a genuine video. However, the takes are just the worst justifiable things I could think of. we're talking, you know, just stuff that I could... My goal was to make a video where if somebody watched it, they could, you know, it would be on that border between it being a meme and it being serious. It's just like on the rev limiter. It is something where somebody could, you know, you could maybe see like some random bozo online, you know, have the take, even if it'd be like a what the fuck moment, you know, like you seriously think this, you know, and it'd be something that maybe you wouldn't be happy you see, but I mean, you could expect it. Also, there's a secret hidden area, and I can't fucking find it. Hold on. I know where it is. It has sharks in it. That's why I'm trying to get the power up. Oh yeah, we can also go up. We'll do that later. There's some annoying things to do up there. Oh my god. But yeah, like, I remember putting, you know, obviously Mario 64 has to be the best one. That's how it goes. But everything else is just kind of stupid. I specifically... Oh yeah, here we are. Oh yeah, by the way, this kills you. Oops. One of the things I did was I put, as one of the worst games, I put, like, No, it was even better. Okay, so I specifically put, like, one of the, like, lower worst game, I guess higher worst games, you know, like, top 9th worst, top 8th worst. I put, like, Mario Wonder because it was, like, too gimmicky. Then, for, like, one of the lower best games, like 9th best or whatever, I put Mario Galaxy because while the game was good, it was just kind of, you know, it started making Mario very formulaic and linear. The joke obviously being that, well, I literally just got done complaining about, like, you know, Wonder being too gimmicky to complain about this game being too formulaic. And then simultaneously, you know, the 10th best has to be the original, like, you know, Super Mario Bros. And, then, you know, because, oh, it's the honorary position. And then, because they thought it'd be funny, like, the 8th worst is Mario Galaxy 2. And you may be wondering, why would you put Mario Galaxy 2 as one of, like, the worst Mario games? And it's because, as people used to say, it was, and this was a real argument people made, wow, oh, it's basically just a glorified level pack. Which you may be wondering, wow, that's really stupid. Wow, how could anybody think that? Well, they sure did. It's that kind of stuff. And I am proud of the script I made. I don't know when I'll turn it into a video. I think I actually voice acted most of it, if not all of it. We'll see. The only issue I have, maybe it's already gonna be out. I don't know, I don't really do these things in order. But yeah, generally speaking, with the way I'm doing stuff, I want to do more sort of meme-y stuff because it's fun, but I want to avoid... No, not go away. I want to avoid making, like, people unreasonably mad when I'm just trying to make stuff for, like, a laugh. You know, I'm trying to avoid making videos that are gonna be all like, hey guys, this is, you know, S-tier rage bait, but it's funny. Even though, you know, the entire thing will be structured as a giant joke. You know, whenever you make a joke, no matter how obvious it is you're taking the piss, someone is going to take it seriously. And it's gonna, like, perform negatively. There are 15 gems lost somewhere, and I'm mad I can't find them. Up here? No. It's a shame. I hope they were up. Wait. If you hold all of these, he points to them. Huh. Should be right on. Oh, there's one. Wait. Oh, he's pointing downwards. Where did the map go? Just notice there's no more map. Huh. You know what, whatever. See you next time when this continues. Bye-bye.